Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Now, I have not uploaded a structured video on this channel for I think more than 2 years at this point. And I know it's been a while, but returning to this channel and uploading videos again has been something that I wanted to do for a while. So I'm back. I am honestly not sure how consistent my upload schedule is going to be, so trying to figure that out. And I'm also in my freshman year of college right now, so lots of things going on. So yeah, we'll see. But I want to at least upload a video every time I write an article or make a guide on a deck for my Patreon. Uh, and my Patreon is actually the reason that I can devote more time to making Magic content right now. Um, and if you want to check it out, link is in the description. In fact, for today's deck, Rakdos Breach, I've written a full, over 4,000 word guide going over everything you need to know about how to play the deck, including all the combo lines written out in tables, nice and neat, and a guide on how to sideboard. Not a full sideboard guide because there's just a ton of different decks and different lists, but since Thomas is pretty new, but definitely like how to adjust the deck based on what you see from your opponent and what all the sideboard cards are for, so that you can have a pretty good idea of how to figure out sideboarding against the people you play. And yeah, really just everything you need to know how to play the deck, as well as access to my private Discord, where you can pester me with questions. And I also post decks that I'm working on there. Sometimes I give away arena codes, all kinds of stuff. So yeah, kind of check that out. It's I'll put a link in the description to the Patreon and to the article for this deck. Anyway, enough showing. Let's get into this deck. So today we've got what I'm calling Rakdos Breach. It's a deck built around Underworld Breach, which is probably the most powerful Storm Enabler, if not ever printed, then ever printed since Yawgmoth's Will, I would say. Lets you cast cards from your graveyard by exiling 3 other cards. And so the way we're fueling that is we've got Stitcher Supplier and Dragon Rage Channeler to mill ourselves. And then we've got Diabolic Intent for some extra redundancy. And as a sacrifice outlet for Stitcher Supplier to get that second mill 3. And then we're finishing the game with a Tendrils of Agony. And we're generating mana with Dark Ritual, one of the most powerful cards in the Timeless format, and this is probably the literal best deck for it. It's built all around Dark Ritual, and you've got access to Dark Ritual through tutors, so really, really strong Dark Ritual deck. And then this deck also has a fair game plan you can beat down with Ragavan and Dragon Rage Channeler, which are really, really strong threats, and you've got removal spells like Fatal Push and Thoughtseize to kind of clear the way and disrupt your opponent, and you've got Orcish Bowmasters as another really insane threat. And then you also got playset of Mishra's Bauble for Delirium, for Underworld Breach to fill the graveyard, and you've got 10 fetch lands. So this deck's really good at filling the graveyard, getting on the board early, and even if it gets the combo disrupted with hate pieces or whatever, it's really resilient because it's just full of really strong cards. Now in the sideboard, we've got some tutor targets for answering hate. So we've got Feed the Swarm, and for stuff like Land of the Void, Grape Shot for Veil of Summer since it stops tendrils, got Molten Collapse for stuff like Grafdigger's Cage, and we've got a little bit extra removal on Holy Heat, and we've got Torment Script for other graveyard decks, which we can find with tutors, so having these kind of silver bullets is really strong. And then we've got a playset of Deathrite Shamans to replace Ragavan when it's bad, and a playset of Necropotence, which isn't in the main deck because it requires giving up Luris, but in some matchups, it's actually better than Luris. Especially on the play, it's really strong because you can get it under a counterspell with a Dark Ritual or a Dragon Rage or a Deathrite Shaman. So this deck can actually shift pretty dramatically post-board thanks to Deathrite and Necropotence and kind of boarding out Ragavans when it's bad, and shifting in and out of the combo plan. So it's actually got a pretty dynamic sideboard plan that can really help you come out on top in all kinds of different matchups, and really kind of rewards you for knowing your role in each matchup. So yeah, that's the deck. Let's get into the gameplay. All right, welcome to match number 1. And this hand That's interesting. So it's got two regional to bobble. So kind of tempted to keep it. Double Bomb is just pretty strong. DT can find us whatever we need. And there's only one other land in this deck that doesn't produce red mana, so I think this is actually fine. I think on turn one we're gonna go bobble ourselves and see if we want to play this Stitch Spire, because if there's a land on top, then we might not want to. And then we obviously go ahead and bobble our opponent as well. Let's see. Yeah, so definitely gonna Stitch Spire to mill that. Oh, that's really good, actually. We milled over a Dark Ritual. So if we hit a land here, on turn 2, we cast Diabolic Intent, and... Ooh, no land. And then we can potentially breach on turn 3 or 4. Really, really would have loved to see a land there, though. Luckily, no blacks. Okay. No black source for our opponent, which is really good news, because we're cracking 2 baubles here. And we're going to crack both right away, so that we don't play into this Bowmasters. And just pass it back. So this is, we are falling behind, but it shouldn't be too bad, because now our graveyard is pretty stocked, and this deck can do its thing pretty quickly. Alright, so let's see. Go ahead and sack this for Blood Crypt. Untapped, and I think there's actually no reason to cast this Diabolic Intent. Actually, no, there is. Because might as well get the mill now. Sorry about that, sneezing. Yeah, sacrificing the supplier is actively good, I think. So might as well. And we're just going to go ahead and get a Dark Ritual. And next turn, they'll plan us to go Dark Ritual, Underworld Breach. We find a red source that we can also toss in a Dragon Rage Channeler, but that actually shouldn't be necessary. Oh, it looks like our opponent's a Natural Order deck, which makes sense. They could be hitting us with a sneak attack here. Nope, looks like a Minskambu. Oh yeah, so red source, and this is 100% guaranteed, but even without a red source, I think we should be good to combo. And opponent's got Bowmasters up. That's not a huge issue. Alright, that's perfect, actually. So DRC. And Dark Ritual. And comboing with a DRC in play is absurdly easy. I go over this in the article, but basically the combo lines where you have DRC, you actually go positive with Stitcher Supplier and Diabolic Intent. So yeah, it's pretty good. And you got this going. I'm gonna cast a Stitcher Supplier, cast some Dark Rituals, and opponent scoops it up. Yep. Writing was on the wall. We were gonna go, Stitcher Supplier, Dark Grit, Diabolic Intent, Dark Grit, Diabolic Intent, Tendrils or something like that. Alright, so against Natural Order, potentially Sneak Attack deck, just like green-red beats. On a draw against Bowmasters, we don't want Ragavan. I think we do want BRC, and then do kind of want Molten Collapse, and then we can board in a Feed the Storm. Actually, I'm gonna board in Grape Shot because I'm worried about Veil of Summer. And what are we boarding out? That's the question. I think like maybe one Diabolic Intent. And actually Bowmasters doesn't seem amazing. Maybe we can go down 1. Actually, I'm gonna go down 2. I doubt my opponent's gonna have Leyline of the Voids. I would assume they would have some sort of artifact instead. But we see Leylines, then we can adjust game 3. It doesn't seem like a deck Traxa to play would run Leyland. You'd rather run something you could find off a Traxa. Alright, another one-lander, but this one is also a keep, I think. think we're gonna probably lead on turn 1 Death Ray, because it's better against Bowmasters. And, we do miss out on the Surveil on the Bobble, but that's fine. And I think since we're basically guaranteed to play Death Ray, then we might as well bobble our opponent. Alright, they also have a Death Ray. Oh, we drew a land. Okay. So I don't want to bobble my opponent anyway. Oh, if they have a Bowmasters, this is so brutal. I actually think I'm gonna hold off on cracking my fetch. My opponent's gonna exile it with Death Ray and have mana for Bowmasters. That seems pretty awkward. Oh, we drew Dark Ritual. Okay, now we're not that far off comboing. I know I say basically anytime anything happens, but it's true. Unlicensed Hearse. That I don't love to see. We don't actually have an answer to Hearse, because it really just has not been seeing play, but I don't know. People have started sideboarding it a little more, possibly because of me, so might have to replace one of the Molten Impacts with an Abrade. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily stop the combo, but definitely makes it more difficult. I can go ahead and grab a Swamp with this. And fire off a Thoughtseize. Don't really want our opponent getting up to any shenanigans. Are they going to make a mana here? What are they casting, I wonder? Or is just... Oh, Veil of Summer. Oh, yeah. Right. Veil of Summer. Now that our Death Rates don't really do anything, I feel like I might as well just fire off the bolt on the Death Rate. Wow, that's... Yeah, probably should have bolted, moved to second main, Thoughtseized. That's not great. Even boarded in the Grape Shot because of that. At least getting it out of the hand is fine, but... Okay, yeah. Definitely didn't play that optimally. Those are more Molten Collapse. I think we should go like Death Ray, DRC, and just pass. Because I have a Bowmaster to get to kill the DRC, but not a ton we can do about that. At least now, if they want to sack their fetch, then Sethai's going to be producing mana. Okay, they bolted. That's fine. It's totally fine. So here's the thing, right? Hearse, it's possible to combo through it, but it basically requires a DRC. You need to generate a bunch of mana off Dark Rituals, and you need to really stock your graveyard with a ton of cards, which you can't necessarily do without a DRC very easily, especially since they can exile a Stitcher Supplier and stuff like that. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and swing in. I have a Bowmasters that's dying anyway, so might as well. Alright, looks like they don't. What's the plan? What is the plan? Could just bring Luris to hand as an option. Could play Death Ray, Diabolic Intent. What would I even be getting? It doesn't accomplish a ton. I think I'm just gonna grab Luris. Kind of hoping my opponent doesn't have a ton here. If they play a creature, we can Molten Collapse it. Maybe they have like a natural order and no green cards, something like that. It's the dream. If they play a Minsc and Boo or something like that, then I'm in a world of hurt if they have any sort of pressure. Yep. Fable comes down. Yeah, it's not great. It's gonna let them start looting and stuff. What do I want to do here? We go like... Go Dark Ritual, Diabolic Intent, DRC, grab something, Luris. But then they're just gonna exile it in response. That doesn't accomplish a ton. I just want to play Luris plus Death Rit. If they kill Luris, that's fine. They have their own lands, which they're probably going to need to exile. They can hit me for 8 with this hearse, but if they tap out of it, then that's really, really dangerous. I don't think letting them attack with the Goblin Chime is going to change too much. Discards not check, so yep, just a bunch of like random. The fact that I didn't discard 2 cards is terrifying though. Probably going to see an attack for 2 here. And then, oh, really? What do they have? Oh, second Dragon Rage Channeler. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. If they exile it with hers. Oh, do they? Do they? Do they? Do they? Oh, come on, please. Please, please. Oh, opponent, you should not have done that. Now I think it's very difficult to... Okay, I got a 5. 5 mana floating, Diabolic Intent, Breach, Dark Ritual. Okay, this should be good. Now, we're gonna Tendrils. If opponent has Veil of Summer, then we can... Things get kind of sketchy, but I think we can assemble something. Diabolic Intent, because just having double Dragon Rage Channeler is just so much. Yeah. No way to filter black into red though, so that can't really like bolt them a bunch of times. But we can get like a bunch of Bowmasters into play and stuff like that. That's what am I getting here? Underworld Reach. We do have this Grape Shop, which is not quite. We don't have an extra red source. Let's see, Dark Ritual. 3 cards. Looking for a Stitcher Supplier, but we don't actually need one. We could just use the Diabolic Intent. Oh. Huh. That's actually a... Shoot, we still don't have any red lands left in the deck. Oh, but Demonic Tutor on top is actually really, really good. Okay. So my opponent's going to have to exile the 2 breaches. Actually, this is fine. I think we're going to be able to just combo next turn. Actually, maybe I should have just... Should have just let the floating mana go away, attacked with the DRC, and then played it, because that took away Delirium. Okay, missed 3 damage. Shouldn't really matter, but it definitely could. That's not great. I mean, you gotta activate hers here. Like, come on. Low? What? Oh, I see. Well, their idea is to exile the Dark Rituals, I assume. That the unfortunately I have this Demonic Tutor, but I also have the Diabolic Intent, so they should have known that wouldn't work. I guess they can crew hers and copy it with reflections, but it doesn't. Sure. That doesn't actually accomplish. Yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't just exile the 2 breaches. This seems a little loose from them. And this should be good. I'll leave the breach. And now we're just milling with every single surveil. Oh, and there's the Citrus Supplier. That's perfect. Demonic Tutor, mill. And opponent scoops it up. Yep. They were dead there. Okay, got there. Fought through the hate. Just kind of overwhelmed the hearse. That one turn where they stopped the DRS was pretty bad, but they couldn't really have known. That's the thing, that no one really knows how to play against this deck yet. So yeah, and then the second turn, they just couldn't exile all the cards with hers in time. So yeah, they had the hate piece, they had also the Besage, they had the Veil of Summer even. but they just didn't have a clock, so we just sat here and waited, and eventually just went off. The second Dragon Race channel was a pretty big top deck. I would say having the two of them is so strong. Yeah, maybe if you're playing this deck, throw in the second Abrade, or the Abrade instead of the second Molten Collapse, instead of an uptick in hearses since I wrote the article. Alright, welcome back to match number 2. And we have got an excellent hand. This hand goes DRC plus Bobble into Bowmasters. We've got a Breach. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and lead on a Blackleaf Glyphs, since I do want to get that in play as soon as possible. And it's basically just impossible for me to turn on Delirium here anyway. And we're going to go ahead and crack the bubble now, since we want to draw a card before our opponent hits their second land and can flash into Bowmasters, as I was saying. Yeah, really important to not let your opponent have the opportunity to do that. You don't need to, and they flash into Bowmaster, which is fine. You know, that's just an inherent risk of playing X-Ones in this format, but DRC and the like are just too powerful not to run, and we've got our own Bowmasters to kill their Bowmasters, so ends up just being like a 2-for-2 anyway. So nothing to be worried about. Alright, and I think I'm just gonna wait on this Bowmasters, since if I flash it in, I'm gonna go block my 1 with their 1/1, that would be the idea, and then they flash into Bowmasters of their own. That's not great, because then 1/1 would go to a 2/2, so my Bowmasters would be eaten and the actual Bowmasters would die. Not a very favorable trade, basically. And I do think it's worth something to deny my opponent that information. Alright, so Graveyard Chestburster is kind of annoying. Luckily, we drew the answer. And I actually don't mind discarding land here too much, since we've just got a bunch just rotting in our hand. I'm going to keep all the fetch lands since they make this Breach better. And I'm just going to play the Delta since I'm getting a Blood Crypt tapped anyway. And pass the turn. And over the following couple turns, looks like we're just going to be getting Luris going, since we don't really have the pieces to combo off with Breach yet, nor enough cards in graveyard for a fair Breach to be very effective. Cards I wouldn't like to see here, something like a Shieldred, second Bowmasters would be kind of annoying. But yeah, Thoughtseize. But really, it's not that one individual card is too worrying, more so than my opponent just having a bunch of gas here. Is kind of how I lose. If we both take it slow, then it'll be great. But if I flood out and my opponent doesn't, then I'm gonna be in trouble. And it looks like that might be happening, unfortunately. I'm not gonna attack here. Okay. Sure. So third Bowmasters. So they just have a bunch of pressure. I assume that they're gonna hit my Bowmasters here. This doesn't make a ton of I guess. Okay, I guess what they're gonna the idea is they're gonna just attack with a 3/3 here. Sure. Storin. Alright, so they're the Sorin combo deck. That's interesting. That's fine, I think. Unless they put in something huge. Nope. And they've got no vampires, so Sorin's just to do nothing right now. So their idea here is to only attack the 3/3 because they don't want to put my Bowmasters in the graveyard for Luris. So my opponent's just not doing anything here. The issue is that I don't really mind. I can also just not do anything. Oh, and there we go. I just drew my own Bowmasters. I'm fine passing back because I guess they don't know this, but a late game benefits me because of this Breach. So obviously I can't play Luris because then I'd be flashing back Bobble, and then that's obviously bad. But yeah, I'm super fine playing a draw go game here. And now my opponent gets aggressive, but now I've already drawn my Bowmasters. So now what I'm gonna do is flash in this. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and block with the Bowmasters. Let's see. So if I block with the Bowmasters, I go Luris, replay Bowmasters, King. This goes to 6 and 5. 1, 2, 3. That doesn't accomplish anything. I actually just don't want to be taking too much damage here. I'm just gonna trade off with this. If they have some sort of removal spell here, then they don't really want to fire it off because I have this Luris, and it's unlikely that they have 2. Oh, okay, I see. Bloodgast. Sure. Yeah, and I didn't want to take too much damage because we've got this sword in play. But yeah, Bloodgast is going to get a counter, I suppose. That means my opponent's probably not holding onto a land, because if they did, they would go sack it, play a land. Or presumably they're just holding onto the activation for the lures. That would also make sense. Okay. So we hit the diabolic intent. I think I'm just going to go ahead and wait another turn. Since I'm not hard pressed here to start firing off the intent yet, and I'm definitely going to have at least a creature in play by the end of this, and I also think it's very unlikely that I die. My opponent's kind of forced into sacking the Bloodcast, targeting lures. I shouldn't have sacked the fetch line last turn. That put me to 10, give the Bloodcast haste. That wasn't great, since I only have basics left to fetch anyway. But should be fine. I attack the Bloodcast. Kind of tempted to just trade off, which might seem crazy, but it's gonna die to the Sorin anyway. I'd rather gain some life. I think this is fine. And now, this Diabolic Intent is going to grab a Stitcher Supplier. And if the Stitcher Supplier mills well, then I can try to go off with Breach. If it doesn't, I can just wait a turn. Yeah, they're going to just throw it at my face, I presume. Yeah, I don't think they should have offered me the attack. It was a little bit unintuitive to block, for sure, but it goes after the 1/1. That's fine. They kill my Bowmasters here, that's annoying, because then it turns off to stab on the dead. But that'd be a little bit of a strange play. How many fetch ups do I have? I have one swamp. I only have one swamp left in the deck. Yep, just gonna grab this, just start milling. So I think since I only have one swamp in the deck, I'm checking with untapped. You can't see this, but I've got like the little sidebar. I highly recommend untapped, but yeah, I've already got 2 bases in the graveyard. So I'm gonna fetch now. The second fetch in could just put himself in the graveyard, but doesn't actually get a land, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't want to mill it over and then kind of be stuck. That can happen with this deck. Generally, when you've got all your fetchables in play, you've got plenty of mana already, so it's not too big of an issue, but yeah. Alright, let's see here. So I can't actually do anything here because I go Breach, Diabolic Intent, that's me out of mana. Actually, I even have one less mana than that because this fetch land doesn't get a land. So yeah, really not a good idea to do anything here. Okay, so they can Field of Ruin a land, I suppose. And that'll just destroy it. Yeah, this is more cards in graveyard for Breach. The only issue is it may take me some mana to set up with Breach because I need to go Breach, Diabolic Intent, Dark Ritual. I don't have a Dark Ritual in the graveyard. So theoretically, if they kill the Stitcher Supplier, then I need to draw land. I don't have many of those left in the deck. I need to find a Dark Ritual. Okay, this could get a little sketchy at some point. I still think I'm doing fine, but this can definitely go wrong. Puts a counter on it. I'm not blocking because if I untap the Stitcher Supplier, I just win. Because as soon as I find the Dark Ritual, I've got plenty of cards in the graveyard. Alright, so let's see. What they should do here is if they have something, they kill Stitcher Supplier in response, but they don't. So now I'm just going to cast the Diabolic Intent, and now this is basically guaranteed. Actually, it is deterministic. My opponent's above 20, but should be totally fine. I have so many cards in the graveyard, and I can put an extra one in with the Bloodstained Mire if I need to. I've got all 4 Dark Rituals in the deck, so yeah. Now we're just gonna go ahead, Dark Ritual again, just to be safe, not accidentally run it, and opponent skips it up. That's fair. Yeah, I had way too many cards in the graveyard there to whiff. All right, so against my opponent, I'm gonna be on the draw, so Bowmasters or Ragman looks really bad, and then I'm gonna board in this PRCs. Let's see, do I think I want Feed the Swarm? Not particularly. I also don't expect any graveyard hate because they have their Bloodcasts and stuff, so like I don't know, maybe they could have like Soul Godland or something, but that's not too worrying. Honestly, not sure that I need to even sideboard anything else in. I think we just run it like this. This hand, I don't really love. I kept in the Thoughtseizes, even though I generally don't do against black decks because I've got this like Sorin stuff going on. But, and also because I didn't have much to bring in. But this hand, I mean, 2 Thoughtseizes is kind of a lot. Dabble Content with no creature. Having Tendrils in hand is really bad. Like, early in the game, it's kind of like a mulligan. In later games, sometimes Tendrils in hand can do something, but having it in your opener is almost like a multi-6. So yeah, I think I'm gonna send this back. This hand just does not really have a plan. Ooh, I mean, this hand doesn't either, but at least it has more of a plan, is what I'll say. I mean, I'm bidding a Dark Ritual here. Having 2 Dark Rituals on the multi-6 is really going to be super low in resources. That doesn't seem great. I have this Bauble to find a second land. I have this Deathrite Shaman. They're going to Inquisition me. I'm not even sure what they take. If they have a removal spell, then I think it makes sense to take the Bauble to take me off my second land, but it looks like they don't. Oh, perfect. All right, so I'm going to Bauble myself. And now if the card is good, I'll draw it. And if the card is bad, like a Thoughtseize, which I really can't afford because I'm already down on card advantage, I'm just going to shuffle it away and draw my card. Oh, yeah, and Dragon Rage Channeler is much better, see, so bubble there. Nice cute synergy. Basically just to opt. Okay, let's see. Stitcher Supplier. That's very interesting. Now this hand's actually pretty close to comboing. I'm gonna lead on the Stitcher Supplier for a couple of reasons. First of all, Bowmasters. Second of all, Bowmasters. I want to turn on Delirium before I play this DRC, and as you can see, I did not, so I will not be casting it, because the odds they have of Bowmasters here are just too high. And if they cast it here, yeah. Always gotta play around Bowmasters. They kill my Stitcher Supplier, that's fine. Really not worried about that. Makes my Diabolic Intent worse, but that's fine. I also have this Dark Ritual, so I can set up a Breach turn with Diabolic Intent if I need to. Alright, Soren. Let's hope they don't put in like a Galta and Marvin or something. I wouldn't love that. What are we missing for Delirium? You got land, artifact. Okay, so that would turn on Delirium. That's such light thing. I think I'm just gonna wait on this Fatal Push since I want to cast it with the Dragon Rage Channeler in play. I'm kind of actually looking for a land here. Ooh. That's not precisely what I was looking for. Yeah, land or some sort of cheap creature would be ideal. I want to kind of bait out their Bowmasters here, and then I can turn on Delirium in response. Dark Ritual? What is this? That's a like 5-drop vampire that draws cards? Takenuma? Sure. Huh. Okay. Well, now that's the Galton Marvin, and that's a Bloodghast, and I now know about Leyline of the Voids, so I guess I kind of got pretty lucky in dodging that. Maybe I should have brought in the Feed the Swarms. It's generally like a pretty safe play to do that, because a lot of decks just have Leylines. Yeah, maybe that would have been better. Alright, let's see what my opponent does here. If they attack, then I can kind of blow them out. Kind of, sort of. I mean, I guess this isn't even that much of a blowout, but... Alright, I'm just going to do this now. There's one less attacking creature. Prevail. Let's see. So, next turn, Dark Ritual, Diabolic Intent, Breach. Yep, I need to keep this on top. I need 5 mana to do what I want. And if my opponent doesn't mess with my DRC, you're going to see exactly what that is. Oh, no. 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 Really, really did not want to see that. Alright. So now what's the plan? I'm taking... So I'm dead in 2 turns. So next turn I need to win the game. So bringing letters to hand doesn't actually accomplish too much because I don't even have a breach in the graveyard. Let's see. I think the plan is a breach just wins the game here. I have 3 lands. So I'm gonna go Dark Ritual Tendrils. That's 2 Surveils, and we just hope. Just hope and pray. Alright, and if I lose this game, we're gonna do some serious reevaluating in the sideboard. Let's see, Tendrils. Dark Ritual does not help. bonk this Soren, and let's see. So we're taking 13 here, plus making a, I guess we could take 14 if he makes a dinosaur. So basically no way to survive next turn. Yeah, definitely bringing in the Molten Impacts for Galta, and then bringing in Feed the Swarm for Leyline. We'll figure out what we cut. Yeah, I'm not gonna do it. So I think we just put up. Man, that Takunin was pretty good. I definitely want these, and definitely want this. We want to play, but still don't really feel like I want Ragavans. Though Ragavans do get better against a player with ley lines, because they can sometimes keep non-functional hands. I think I just don't want removal in this matchup. I think that's just not where I want to be. And I think I can maybe like cut the death rate or 2 Ragavans maybe. Or I could cut Stitcher Supplier. Because it's worse in the face of land. Actually, just gonna go down 1 Stitcher Supplier, 1 Ragavan. I think this is fine. Not 100% sure how to set up on this matchup. It's kind of a random deck, but whatevs. I'm never gonna say that again. I apologize. Does not feel right. You know what? Sure. Snowy Lands, Snowy Lands, Snowy Lands. Nice. Alright, so I'm fetching a mountain on turn 1, so I might as well sack the Wooded Foothills, because it can only get a mountain or a Blood Crypt. And then next turn I'm probably going to play a swamp, so I play a Polluted Delta, because I guess with no mountain in the deck, Polluted Delta and Bloodstone Mire are basically the same, but still, might as well. Inquisition, sure. Don't really think, even though 4 lands is kind of a lot, don't really think Mulligan makes too much sense. Especially since I have a Lurrus, which can help in land heavy hands. This Ragavan is a nice draw, it gives me something to do with my mana. Would like to not see a Bowmasters, but if I have Bowmasters, I just bring Lurrus to hand and it's kind of fine. Okay, well there's 1 Galta down. I assume they have a playset in their deck though, and hitting it is not really ideal. Oh, it would have been nice to hit like an Inquisition or something. Yeah. Or like a Dark Ritual to put the Lurrus to hand. Wow, really? In a deck with Bloodghasts? That is interesting. I guess I'm surprised by that. I see. So I can play Stitcher Supplier if I mill over Artifact, Instant, Sorcery, 2 of the 3, or Enchantment. Then I turn this ERC, but it makes the Ragavan worse because then I can't cast a 3-drop. They have a number of 3-drops, so I think I'm just gonna fire out the Ragavan. Also, like the Stitcher Supplier isn't even that likely to turn Delirium. Sure. Land. Okay, well, this is kind of worrying now, I think. And at least I have this Dark Ritual up, so I can turn on Delirium at instant speed if needed. Sorcery. Okay, yeah. So if they have a Bowmasters, I'm just going to Dark Ritual to turn on Delirium. Yeah, see, Ragavan's good in these kind of games when my opponent's not doing too much, because they've got like hate pieces and hand disruption and whatnot. But, okay, there's the Bowmasters. And it's going to hit the DRC, I assume. Gonna fire off the Dark Ritual. I mean, it's can't keep it because it's a stupid Grafdigger's Cage. Keep it on top. Don't think it makes sense to. Annoying, but it's fine. They're on a clock. They are on a clock, and I have spells to cast here. Oh, that's a great draw here. A second one, they could just die to this very easily. And they always have to keep up with the blocker because of this Ragavan. And, you know, this is just a creature with lifelink. You know. Yeah, so they've got, I mean, 2 turns. But if they kill one, then they've got 4 turns. But I can also find, like, at this point, just drawing a tendrils would be pretty interesting. I see. Gyre Sanitarium. Alright, so what am I looking for? Molten Impact, Diabolic Intent, Demonic Tutor. I think I'm just gonna bin the Ragavan, to be honest. Like, it's not getting in, and a Honorable Breach, if I find something, is gonna be pretty good. AKA win the game. So Molten Impact just wins the game on the spot. My opponent getting in here? Probably not, I assume. Yeah. Alright, there's a Diabolic Intent. I think I'm just gonna attack for 6. And I'm gonna play Lurrus and just pass. Because Diabolic Intent stacking with DRC just takes lethal off the board. If they go like Sorin into Galta plus removal spell, then I can like Diabolic Intent, Molten Impact, and we're fine. My opponent's activating Gaia Reach here. I'm not worried about that. Okay, well. Interesting. What have I been here? So I bid in the Diabolic Intent, my opponent has a hand disruption spell, that I'm pretty screwed. But I suppose on the other hand, I bid Breach. Take Collapse. I could Diabolic Intent for Collapse. Cast it. Doesn't accomplish a ton. I think I'm fine just bidding the intent. Because now, if they have removal, then I win. And if they have hand disruption, then I win with damage. So I have to have land, Fatal Push, Thoughtseize. Thoughtseize doesn't even do it. Land, Fatal Push, Inquisition. And then they're still not in a great spot. I mean, Phyrexian Tower helps. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Interesting. What they got? Bowmasters. Kill the Lurrus. Sure, that doesn't really matter. So gotta have a Fatal Push here. And that doesn't even save them. Dark Ritual, okay. Liliana of the Veil. Alright, so that kills a creature. Sure. But then this Molten Collapse kills a cage, and then this Breach kills them. So, yeah, this worked out fine. I think I would have won even if I didn't draw the Molten Collapse. I think I was pretty likely to. Yeah, Dark Ritual is kind of just not even necessary, but makes things a little easier. Oh. Just in case I, like, screw something up, I'm going to keep this on top. Won't collapse. Sure. This. Reach. And I would just cast Dark Ritual. Mill the Tendrils. And GG. Bit overkill, but you know. Game. Alright, looking at match number 3, and this is a keep. This hand's got the Bauble Scry on turn 1 into Bowmasters on turn 2. Looks serviceable. Also got a Fatal Push for some interaction if that comes up. So I am just fetching a tap Blood Crypt if I don't want this card. I actually do want this card. Yeah, we had Foothills. If I need to Fatal Push something, I'll shock it in. Otherwise, I'll get my tap Blood Crypt, and then the other Foothills probably getting a Mountain. Inquisition, that's fine. Yeah, it's just buy nice here because once you have a Breach, milling yourself is pretty useful. They do take the breach, which is annoying, but it's fine. I'm gonna pass it back here. At some point, this Lurrus can get the breach back if needed. Wonder what they're main phasing. Some creature? Another Death Ray Shaman, sure. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and I want to fatal push that or bolt it. I think I'll fatal push it. Most creatures that data fatal push data bolt. There's a chance I would have bolt face or like a planeswalker. Plus, they know about the fatal push. I don't know about the bolt. I guess that wasn't really necessary since the blood crypt was already in my hand. Speaking of hands, I'm gonna bring Lurrus to hand. I don't feel a strong urge to play out Bowmasters this turn. And, ooh, that's a breach. That's very interesting. Let's go with the Stitcher Supplier. No 3. Okay. I think I kind of want to just take it slow. My opponent's missing land drops. So I think I'm just going to try to out-tempo them. Oh, yeah. That will spell here, that's fine. Thing is, I'm just going to jam Lurrus. I'm going to start attacking with my random dorks. And then everything trades off. I'm up the breach. I'll just win. I'm expecting at least some memory lapses and stuff in terms of interaction. Talking in a land. This is an Oko. No, it's not an Oko. Fair enough. Okay, now this is kind of interesting. So let's see. Gonna attack with attack with both. They memory lapse Lurrus. I'm actually fine with that. It's throwing away the 1/1 for damage. And then I'll bolt the death right. They don't, it's 2 damage free. Plus, there's gotta be so weird about a Bowmasters. I think it's unlikely they block. Alright, so they go to 10. Play the polluted Delta. I think I'm supposed to. What am I even casting on this Lurrus? Definitely want to play it. I think I'm just playing Bobble anyway, so no reason to crack the fetch. Memory lapse, sure. And I'm gonna bolt the death right. It starts thinning out my graveyard, which I don't like, and also just gives them a mana advantage. I don't think there's any good reason to let it stick around. You also gain life, so like the whole thing of I can bolt them face and kill them out of nowhere gets kind of worse when there's a death right. Okay, well, if they tap out here, oh, they're gonna get back Lurrus next turn, aren't they? What's the plan? What's the plan? I actually think what I'm supposed to do is gonna look a little strange. I want to be able to redden comboing next turn. But I think I'm gonna play. I'm gonna sack the fetch now. I'm gonna play Lurrus, I'm gonna play Bowmasters, and I'm gonna Bowmasters my own Stitcher Supplier. And now this is setting them into panic mode. It has to, because they're like, why would he do that? He's got to have some sort of reason to be milling himself. I just showed them the tendrils. They're freaking out. If they play Uro, they're in a world of trouble because they need to draw 2 untapped lands and have an interaction spell. And if it's memory lapse, I can just run it back next turn. And it's kind of hard for them to attack because I attacked back for a bunch with this Bowmasters and Lurrus. And I'm also getting a spell off Lurrus. So they've got a ton of threatening things to deal with. Just milling myself a little bit more just makes everything so much more threatening. Because there's so much I can hit that can win the game on the spot, and that means I can recast Stitchers with Lurrus next turn if I miss. What is this? Like, Fatal Push on Lurrus does not do it. Because I have the Breach in hand. Inquisition, my Unreal Breach also doesn't do it because I have this Lurrus in play. Sure. So, what's the plan? Plan is that I win the game this turn, and there's nothing my opponent can do about it. Let me grab a land real quick. Only have one fetchable left, so... Ooh, no fetchables left. That's fine, though. Which means I can't cast the Stitcher Supplier. I gotta do this right away and get a Dark Ritual. Still should be perfectly fine. Yeah, always gotta make sure that you're leaving yourself enough mana to actually cast the Dark Ritual. It's an easy mistake to make, let me tell you. You're like, oh, I'm gonna cast all these spells and then Dark Ritual to gain all my mana back, and then you're like, oh, I just tapped out. Oops. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But yeah. 4 mana, Tendrils Heal. No need to get fancy, but could have played Splatter, Dollar Ball of Content, get another Dark Ritual, yada yada yada. I read all the lines in the article, and I think that the main line with the Breach, Intent, Stitcher Supplier, and to deal 20, if you go Intent Ritual, Intent Tendrils, you need like 7 mana, which is replaceable with cards. So I think I would have been able to just do that from here. But yeah. No need. Alright. See. Soul Tech Control. This seems like a matchup for Necropotence. And on the draw, I don't think this is the matchup for Ragavan. So we're gonna bring in Deathrights instead. Also good against Burrow. Because basically Bowmasters is so bad to run into, especially on the draw with Ragavan. And I'm gonna bring in one Multi-Collapse, one Feed the Swarm until I ascertain what sort of direction I've got, and I need a Grape Shot because we could have a Veil of Summer. So, don't need removal spells. Fatal Push does answer Uro, but that's generally not a huge issue, especially with Deathright Shamans. And I'm going to board out one Stitch Supplier, one Diabolic Intent, because interaction makes those worse. And I've got a Necro as a draw engine. And I think I'm going to board out a Thoughtseize, just because Thoughtseize is worse with Necropotence. It's obviously good in this matchup. No arguments there, but it gets worse in the face of what they've got going on. And then if I don't see any sort of ley lines, I'm not bringing in Feed the Swarm next game. If I don't see any sort of like Grafdigger's Cages, then I'm not bringing in Molten Collapse game 3. Like, we have like a nice... Alright, well there's a Ritual, but no Necropotence, unfortunately. Yeah, giving up Lurrus is kind of annoying, but Necropotence is so difficult for my opponent to beat that it seems worth it. Alright, opponent's going with the turn 1 Brainstorm, fair enough. So they let me untap and play a land out of just Dark Ritual Bowmastered, so makes sense. But it does just make it basically a 1 mana draw one. A Reach Through Mists, if you would. Alright, here's like a bunch of my sideboard cards that are really only in the deck to get tutored for, and my Tendrils, which I don't really want in my opening hand. But I got like Dark Ritual, Grape Shot, Tendrils, that's what? 2/6 damage already? That's kind of scary. This goes like long, and that one doesn't Thoughtseize them away. Could be something there. Could be something there. Well, interesting to see what they take here. They can't take the Tendrils, but they do know about it, which means that they'll be less aggressive with their life total potentially. What do they take? I bet they Wooded Foothills on turn 1, because I'm going to sack it for a tap land if they don't do anything. And if they do, then I can get untapped mana with it. Playing Bloodcrab tapped isn't great. Playing a Swamp untapped isn't great. I feel like I want to have the option to either get Painless Mana or I'm on Collapse. Get Painless Mana or do something. So yeah, now I'm just going to grab a Blood Crypt. So this is kind of interesting. Oh. Okay. 2 Dark Rituals. Let's see, land, 6 mana, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Let's see, hold on. So Storm Cat 3, Storm Cat 4. So 3 plus 8 is 11. Okay, I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna go like Dark Ritual, Bowmaster's Rape Shot the Death Ray, potentially, but this actually makes me want to just not do that. Because they're pretty close to dying to just Tendrils. Plus Grape Shot. Going to 13? It's kind of surprising. No, they can gain life if I put a creature in the graveyard, so I guess Bowmaster is... It's not amazing, but not too much, and I think I'd rather spend my mana. They're going to Fatal Push it, that's fine. Yeah. Kind of just like waiting now. His hand can't really do much at the moment. I could put my opponent pretty low, but yeah, this is interesting. If I can get them to somehow main phase a spell during my turn, that would add to Storm as well. Okay, Oko is kind of sketchy because that starts gaining life. I'm not in love with that, but there's not much I can do about it. Necropotence. Let's see. So I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I go Dark Ritual, Dark Ritual. Up to 8. Necropotence down to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tendrils. If I have one more mana I can fit a Grape Shot in, then I would kill them if they countered the Necropotence. Not quite. I think I'll just go ahead and cast the Necro. And if this resolves, then things get very interesting. But I assume it doesn't. I assume I'm getting memory lapsed here. I'd be shocked if I didn't. Yep. And now, I mean, I could go Ritual Tendrils. 3, 4, 5. Oh my god, I put them to 1. Because they're tapped out of life gain. Oh, no. If I just, like, fired off a Grape Shot a previous turn, they'd be dead. I don't think it was correct, but... Man, so close. Yeah, and that's the thing, like... This deck just can be super scary sometimes. Okay, so they take the Tendrils, I assume. It's a good thing they didn't Thoughtseize me after I played Necropotence, because then Tendrils would get exiled, even from like a discard spell. And now they can discard the Tendrils. So I don't really have that win condition anymore. Which is amazing. Probably gonna animate this food and hit me for 3 if I had to guess. Yep. Do they hit me for 3? I mean, I have a Necro, so yeah, it makes sense too. Alright. So now I think my plan is to Necropotence for a bunch of cards and try to kill him with Grape Shot. Next turn. As it stands, they can hit me for 6, so I think I want to go to 7. This is kind of rough. I was really close to getting them, but now my Tendril's gone just a little bit. I mean, if they have, like, I just lose to a lot of things here. I don't love Thoughtseize here. I also don't love, like, Phyrexian. I think I'd been the Swamp, because I'm definitely not going to need that. The issue is, like, I could go for, like, a fair Grape Shot, but then I have to go, like, Ritual, Necro. Grape Shot doesn't accomplish a ton. Okay, they should take the Grape Shot here. And then I just actually don't have a win condition left in my deck. Yep. They do go to 7 here. Then up to 10 with this Oko, yeah. I'm not sure about this game. I don't think I'm in a good position. I go to 6 here. This means I can draw some more cards off Necro at least. I don't crack the fetch. Wait, Deathright. And then I think I'm just gonna go. Two. I want to go to 1. I want to go to 1. So my out here is hitting 2 Orchestra Masters. I can kill the Deathright Shaman, and then I'm fine. I think I do need to go to 1. Doesn't really make sense not to. Shuts off a Bloodstone Map, but that's fine. I have these Dark Rituals. Let me play this Bauble, actually. Sure. Nope. Did not get there. Okay. Yeah, man, that was kind of brutal. On the play, let's see. And they have so much. They have Fatal Pushes. I didn't see any reason to have Won't Collapse or Feed the Swarm. So I'm not boarding out Grape Shot. I board in. Let's see. Probably want, like, put that ball in content. Maybe I do want that ball in content. No, maybe, what if I want, like, a Stitcher Splatter? What if I want Unholy Heat? Actually, I kind of like the idea of the one Unholy Heat because it kills Oko and it kills DRS. Ragavan's kind of cute because it allows for turn 2 Necro opponents, but it's just kind of difficult to pull off through interaction and Bowmasters on turn 2. Like, this just doesn't seem like the greatest spot for it. Alright, this hand, I think I'm thoughts using on turn 1. Because there are a number of things I don't want to see. And then I can play Bauble, Bowmasters. Alright, let's see. So, Brainstorm. I'm gonna have to main phase Brainstorm. Let's just draw 1. I don't care about that. Otherwise, they've just got a bunch of interaction in this Oko. I think I'm just gonna grab the Oko. Because then they've just got no... Oh, I should have bobbled them before thought seizing, actually. That would have been better. Sure. That wouldn't change my decisions. I hate to main phase these Brainstorms. Or at least this Brainstorm. And then... They've just got a bunch of counter spells. But... Should be fine. Oh, Demonic Tutor. Is there anything I want a Demonic Tutor for? I guess not yet. This is just to shuffle over the card with Brainstorm. Oh, untap land. I guess they do need to get an untapped land, though I don't understand why they just not have any basics in their deck. I guess they needed green mana. Sure, they could Brainstorm now, but I'm fine with that because that taps them out of counters. Yeah, they didn't. I just play the Dragonite's Channeler. I don't know about Bowmasters, so I don't think I really want to play around it. Kind of just want to tax their mana. They gotta hold spells up here. Yeah, down the lock. Not too worried about that. As Bowmasters now, there's a decent chance they would take it. What's this? Brainstorm, sure. That makes sense. So now they'll have Spell Pierce up, which I need to play around. But I'm also applying a decent amount of pressure, especially if they keep shocking themselves. Just with this Orc Bowmaster. Yeah. They tap out a Spell Pierce, I kind of get them. I guess I'm pretty close to getting them. Like a fetch land off the top would be nice. They take the DT, that makes sense. Like, yeah, what do they do? They're on 9. Go to 7. I'm gonna play DRC, and I'm just gonna play this Breach, because they have to counter it with Spell Pierce. Oh, that's gonna like bobble a couple of times, and that's a lot of card advantage. Yep. And I get the Surveil. Who did Delta? Who did Delta? I think I could just mill it. Since at this point, Breach is just gonna like be me casting DRC and then bobble. So that doesn't help too much, and just filling my graveyard is really important. Uro is a desperation play. Uro is most certainly a desperation play. Because that's pretty bad into Bowmasters. You do gain life, but you're tapping out of interaction most likely. That's a fetch land. Okay, I mean they have draws here that are good. Thinking back to the tournament Thoughtseize, is it possible that I was supposed to take one of the attraction spells instead of Yoko? Pithing Needle? Wait, what? Bobble? You're naming Bobble with Pithing Needle? Really? Oh, Necro, right. That makes sense. I forgot. Yep. Oh, are they dead? Seems like it. Alright, that's pretty good. I mean, they were really far behind there either way, because I just go Breach, mill a card, DRC, and then bobble some number of times. But, yeah. Take those. Alright, thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, give me that sweet, sweet engagement. Like the video, comment, subscribe, and check out my links in the description. Go follow me on Twitter if you want more of me. And most importantly, go check out my Patreon article for this deck if you really want to level up and play this deck to its full potential. You should definitely consider checking that out. It's got everything you need to know about how to play the deck. I've got all the combo lines written out, and I've got a guide on how to sideboard, and you also get access to my private Discord, where you can ask me any questions you want about the deck, and also just a lot of cool stuff going on in that Discord. I'm posting decks that I'm working on, and stuff like that, so definitely consider subscribing, and to all of my patrons that are watching this video, thank you very much. This is going to wrap up the video. We went 3-0, and, you know, I think my overall record of this deck is approaching 30-2, I think. It might be like 20, high 20 somethings. Yeah, it's been really strong for me. Just getting to do something really broken while also having a bunch of good cards in your deck is really strong, and the transformational sideboard has helped a lot to pivot in starting matchups. Obviously, the timeless meta is still developing, and things are still changing around a lot. So, you know, we'll see. I'm going to be playing a lot of timeless, and I've got more content planned soon. So be on the lookout for that. And yeah, that'll do it for the video. I will see you. Honestly, no idea when.